guys, let's get
Mentally
started. Let's get started. How's everybody doing?
Yay!
Excellent. All right. Who in here has done this swim before? The last year's first time. First time we did it.
I paddled it.
You paddled it. All right. Any words? What would be your feedback on the event for people who are going to swim it like yourself for the first time?
Well, it's not, the water doesn't move real fast, so you have to stay on the pace, I would say.
Right.
That's a big one. You don't like to hear this, but let your kayaker take you as far out as you can.
Right.
But heed all the warnings. No, but it's a good swim. It's a great swim. Yeah, it's a challenge.
It sure is.
Yeah. Just because it's downriver doesn't mean it's not hard.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute, but don't plan on current. There may be some, but don't count on having a push. If there is one, it won't be against you, it'll be helping you. All right? William wasn't able to make it last year. This is William Campbell. Used to be one of my year-round swimmers, now swims in college. He did the first swim as our test swim. Any feedback for anybody on what you experienced on that inaugural test?
There's like a long factor. You can think you can pass it, but it takes a long time.
Yeah, I'll share them out. There's Allen Steam Station from miles about 6 to 9, and you keep, for the first part of the swim, it's really, the whole thing is, I think, a really amazing swim. And the first 5-6 miles, there's like something to see every mile. Like there's a bridge, there's a marina, and then from that stretch, there's a big power station that they're dismantling. And it's very large, and you just see it for a long time. So,
Is that on your right or your left?
yeah.
I like it.
What's that?
Is it on your right or your left?
It's on your right. Okay. It's on your right. Anyway, before we get into welcome. I'm glad you guys are here. I'll talk a little bit about how we got this thing started in a minute, but we're gonna, because his time is valuable, we got a special guest speaker today, and he is the Catawba River Keeper. You've heard about the River Keepers organization, but Brandon is the River Keeper. So he's the guy. Hey Patrick, come on in, have a seat. We'll get you your shirt and stuff in a second. Oh, no, we're going to start out. Sorry,
That's
Brandon.
right, we got to play the video.
We're going to play the video first. We got a 2-minute video from the first time we did this last year. This opening shot is looking upriver. The boat landing where we start is here. You guys are going to, these are the first 2 bridges you see. You're going to be coming down this way. All right, but it's 2 minutes. The town has been really helpful. They partnered with us to give us the space. Last year they sponsored the drone person and the videographer who did this. But it's pretty cool, so let's just watch that, and then we'll get Brandon on stage. Yeah. Podium. You on stage?
Hi, my name is Melody, and I am from Wisconsin. And this one is a new one for me because I've never been to North Carolina, so I'm happy to be here for a river swim. I've been doing marathon swimming for about 15 years, so I'm always looking for a new adventure.
Michael. I've been swimming since I was 11 years old, so about 19 years. I've been doing open water since COVID, so probably 6 or so years since I first got out in the river. I'm a Charlotte native, a Mount Holly native actually, so this is a really cool way to see my hometown from like a very different perspective. I've driven over this river 1,000 times in my life, and it's really cool to get to spend a couple hours like checking it out from a perspective I've never seen before.
For like really giving it his all and like training for this moment, and we're so excited to see him at the finish line.
Felt really
good to see the buoy and to finish. So it was a great day, beautiful day, sunshine. It felt good. It was a good day out there.
All right. Brandon, take it away.
Thanks, Doug. Yeah, we've been working with Doug and his crew for a couple of years now, actually because of a hurricane, ironically.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's amazing to see all these like hardcore swimmers and recreators out here. Our organization, Catawba River Keeper Foundation, we strive to protect and preserve the entire Catawba for everything, right? For drinking water, for electricity. But the people that are in it are you guys. So it's really exciting to see the people that are actually going to be directly benefiting from the work today. So our organization's been around for about 25 years, and for about 15 of that, we spent it pretty much exclusively working on like coal ash, which is that Allen steam station that you're going to be going past for like 3 miles. And so the lack of towers there and all the work's being done, that's kind of our fault. We led directly to the closure of that facility, but they are now moving all that ash into lime storage where they haven't carted it away. And starting in 2 years, it's going to be the world's largest lithium battery. So they're going to be using that as a peaking facility. So it's kind of an interesting change of use. The organization does more than just sue. We also do a lot of monitoring. So the most common question we get, especially from the swim community, is like, is it safe to swim? What's the water quality? Unfortunately, DEQ, our state monitoring group here in North Carolina, they monitor the lakes once every 5 years. So once every 5 years, they do a study. So that's not particularly useful. It usually takes them about 18 months to actually publish that study once they conduct it. So like right now, we're like 6 years behind. So our organization kind of stepped in to fill that. And so we have our swim guide program. So every week from Memorial Day to Labor Day, we sample about 60 locations throughout the basin, including 11 on Lake Wiley, 3 of which are on your course. So we just sampled yesterday. I'm happy to report that your numbers from upstream to downstream are 27, 22, and 2. The recreational swim standard is 235. So you guys are looking like really good. And that's not always the case. About 90% of the time, it is safe to swim in the lake, but roughly 10% of the time, particularly near Dutchman's and the South Fork, our largest tributaries, that's where we do see some non-point source pollution, some runoff come in, which kind of leads to the next thing that we do as an organization, and then we also lobby. So right now we're working on a parking lot bill, House Bill 369, passed unanimously through the House. Now it's working its way through the Senate. So if you know any of the senators on the Agricultural, Energy, and Environmental Committee, we'll push, not be a bad thing. You can see more information about that on our website. The other thing that you're going to pass on the course, it's very small, it's like 200 feet, but you might notice some newer looking plants on River Right just past Devil Mesa Marina. That's restoration, and so we do stream bank, shoreline stabilization, plantings, and so our staff is out there with that neighborhood HOA, putting in elderberry, live stakes to try and stabilize that shoreline and slow some of that erosion. So that kind of gives you a little bit of idea of what we do. If you're more curious about the organization, you can go to our website, catawbariverkeeper.org, or I'm going to leave some of these swim guide packets over there. If you're interested in supporting that program, either financially or logistically, we always need more people to help us like scoop up those samples and bring them back to the lab and run them. But the other thing we're here today to talk about is a little bit of history. So the Catawba River starts up in the mountains of North Carolina and flows all the way down to Congaree National Park. And in recorded history, we've had 3 major flood events. And so the first one is the Great Flood of 1916, where this race gets its name from. That one basically cut off all communications from the western part of the state. So roughly 22 to 25 inches of rain landed in the mountains of North Carolina, tropical systems, slowed it down, caused massive flooding. Roughly 80 lives were lost during that thing. And legend has it that there was a rail car that fell into the river there as they were trying to hold it down. And you'll be swimming over it. I have never been able to confirm that.
That's no legend. I've touched it.
You've touched it. Okay, so it does exist, and so you will pass that. We're in a drought right now. The lake was actually down about 2 feet recently, so that would have been a good time to see it. But you guys are actually going to have a decent amount of water, not only a foot down from target elevation. The next big flood was the deluge of 1940. It doesn't get quite as much name recognition. I think science school is the Great Flood. But similar situation, tropical storm, basically camped out in Grandfather Mountain, 20 inches of rain, came down and blew out a lot of the bridges. So in the Great Flood of 1916, the bridges and the dams were blown out. So the Lake Wylie Dam that actually makes the lake that you'll be in, that was taken out. It was originally built in 1908, washed out in 1916, rebuilt in 1923, but rebuilt much stronger. They also built several other dams along the way. 10 dams actually from Lake James all the way down to Lake Wateree at that time. And so that really helped to kind of slow down those floodwaters in 1940. And then between 1940 and the most recent flood, Hurricane Helene in 2024, one more dam was built, and that was the Lake Norman Dam, the Cowlins Ford Dam. And so now, even though those dams were not built for flood mitigation, they do effectively do that. And so in all three of those flood events, there was about 400,000 CFS coming down from the mountains. To give you a perspective, on a normal day, it's like 3,000. So 400,000 cubic feet per second, like 400,000 basketballs per second of water rushing down. But the reservoir system that's in place now, they drop it down before these major events, and are able to capture some of that. So still the same amount of water comes down, but we're able to kind of slow it down and fill up those lakes. And kind of slow down the hydrograph. So Hurricane Helene still decimated, still cut off communications, but we didn't see the same kind of complete infrastructure removal that we saw in 1916, and some of which we saw in 1940. So that was, I'm not actually a historian, more of a hydrologist, but I wanted to give you guys kind of a heads up on some of the history, and happy to talk more about water quality or any questions that you have about our organization. All right,
Any questions for Brandon?
No,
No,
I
didn't hear what you said, so was it parts per million on the numbers, metrics you gave, what do you check it for?
Yeah, so
for
for E. coli, for swim standards, we use E. coli as the fecal indicator of bacteria. But we're not actually concerned about E. coli. It's just that if there's E. coli in the water, there are going to be other pathogens like Giardia or Cryptosporidium or Shigella, or really kind of the nastier stuff. But we measure E. coli, and that is correlated with a risk of swimming. So at 235, that correlates with about a 1 in 33 chance of you getting gastrointestinal diarrhea, basically. So we are way, way, way less than that, which is really good. I think for the most recent Olympics, they used like 1,000 as the swim standard. It's kind of wild. So that's like a 1 in 6 chance in diarrhea. I don't love that. But we're much better. This is really, really good water quality, especially for this part of the lake. Like this is some of the best we ever see. So it's a good weekend for it.
Of course.
Yeah.
Where's the restoration, the erosion restoration? As far as
It's the neighborhood that's just south of Telrace Marina. I can't think of it in my mind. I wasn't doing that one. Yeah, River Right. And I think we did 300 feet total with that neighborhood HOA. But we have a live staking program, and so every winter we'll usually do a couple thousand feet around the basin. So if you have some eroding stream bank or shoreline, you can reach out to us, and we can usually cut you a really good deal and help stabilize that and try and keep the dirt out of the river. Great.
All right.
Good luck tomorrow.
Right here. Perfect. Thank you. All right. Great organization. They're the key, one of the key stakeholders for the river, and they do a lot of good work. So they do everything from propagating plants that need to be propagated to that important lobbying work. So, but real quick about this race. So I'm Doug Miller, and I've been an open water swimmer for a long time, and always enjoyed it. And one thing that, as I started to train in this river, one thing that always hit me was that we didn't have any open water races here. So a goal of mine was to do that. So I'm really excited about the 4 that we've got now. And this one, I love all 4 of them. We started with the Oak Crud race that was actually given to me after the first year in 2019, where the guy who started it, who's a triathlon coach, he's a nice guy, was moving to Greenville, South Carolina, and said, and I swam in that race, and he said, "Do you want the race?" And I said, "I'm leaving town." And I said, "Sure." He dropped a box like with buoys, clipboard that had names on it, and that was kind of it. So that was cool. So we grew that one, the 10K, that's fun. Then we added a 1 miler and then a 2 miler at the end of the season. But I gotta say, this one's really close to my heart because I know as a swimmer, like Oak Rud's great. It's, you know, up and back, which we kind of have to do for where that's located. But to have a point to point, you know, where with some kind of good scenery and a really friendly body of water is just, that's just the best, right? That's a fun swim. So that's how this came about. But last year was the first time to do it. Thought it would be a pretty cool name to call it Hell or High Water, which was the headlines in 1916 when we had the big flood. And it's just a cool, dramatic, you know, narrative to get into the river and how it got here and what it's about. So anyway, that's the story of the race. So had a good turnout last year. We get good support from the town here. Some of you guys get hotel rooms and that brings money into the town. They like that. And they like to promote outdoors things. All these Gaston County towns are really pushing that, so that's good. And we have excellent support from the police departments here and the EMS people. They come out and they patrol this whole course while you're on it, which is really amazing. So there's a lot of other volunteers who help, but we just really enjoy support from all those agencies. Duke Energy, which is, they're bad for the coal ash. That was, you know, that's what they're dismantling that plant. They are helpful, you know, they try to promote recreation. So for all these other swims I do, which have an upstream component, I request that they don't tell anybody this if there's like a brownout because of me, but to turn off the dam, like the hydro, and they do that, which is awesome because, yeah, it's safer. And I just know it sucks to swim upstream. So they turn it off, and we do that. For this, I don't make any such requests. So you could, around 8 o'clock, get a push. They typically, in the water, we're in drought, but there is water there to move, and they have to move water down the river for habitat. So you may get a push like at 8, 9 o'clock. Don't count on it, you know, but you might, and that you won't get anything against you. Right? The weather looks really good. I don't even think you're going to winds can sometimes go upstream, but the weather, it just looks like it's going to be clear and then later on it's hot, right? So, but no storms in the forecast, so that's good. All right, so that's the story of the race. Let's go to water conditions. I just checked the temperature coming in here. It was 80, so it's like, I mean, perfect for some of you guys. It's a little warm, but you know, too hot for you? Or no?
Yes.
There's some Lake Jocassee swimmers here. You guys, what's Lake Jocassee at?
It was like 74 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. So water temp's good. It's clean. It's you know, safe. It's the river. If you haven't been, it's some of those drone shots. It looks really massive and it does widen out. But there's other parts. It's relatively narrow. There's a real wide part of Lake Wylie that happens after where we finish. I don't think we're going to get, there will be some boat traffic, especially toward the end, but it's not going to be, you know, just insane, you know, cigarette boats flying around and water skiers. It's still relatively narrow and most of the activity is downriver. So it's all in all a pretty good stretch. The middle channel can be 25, 30 feet deep. But honestly, especially with the water being lower, it's relatively shallow. The only time you will probably, if you get a little bit off court, you could hit bottom. It's never impassable, all right? But there are spots where, you know, that might be an issue, especially on the edges, all right? But all in all, you're not going to see there's no alligators. There's no, you know, I swim in it a lot. I rarely see much at all. I see fishermen, and I'm like, I don't see any fish. You know, there may be a few snakes, but I rarely see them either. So, all in all, pretty friendly river. Would you agree, Patrick? You saw it a bunch.
Yeah, look right on the other side, a couple of fish.
Fish and turtles. Okay.
Yeah, I saw some fish during Oak Rud.
Yeah. There's some gar that hang up by
because it was shallow, and so
yeah.
those rocks and
yeah.
around the turn buoy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So make sure you get a little piece of paper there for your kayaker. Put it in a bag so it doesn't disintegrate in your kayak. It just has, the navigation is really simple. You're generally going to stay river right and go downstream. There's really no way to take a wrong turn past where we stop, there are places where it's a little bit confusing because the fork, you know, it looks obvious on the map, but when you're in the water, it kind of doesn't. But where we're going, it's pretty clear what we're going to do. We will, let me walk through the day as you go. Some of you guys are going to start at 6:30. You have to let me know you're going to do that before you do it. Mainly because, especially if you've got a kayaker that is somebody we provided, they need to know that you're getting there at 6:30. Almost everybody who's doing that has their own kayaker, so that's not an issue. If you're going to be, expect to kind of be in the front pack, you know, trying to get one of those trophies, I do want you to start at 7, because A, the 6:30 is supposed to be for slower swimmers so they can make that checkpoint. And then it's just more fun if you all are racing, you know, going head to head, that you kind of can see where everybody's at as you're getting after it. So arrive 30 minutes before your start time at the latest. So if you're 6:30, get there by 6. I'd get there like at 5:45, right? We're going to mark your arm and get you ready. We'll have the kayaks are, I don't know if you've been to this boat landing, it's not far from here. The kayaks will be like right there at the riverside. We'll have them all set up for you. It won't be too confusing to find your kayaker and get you guys ready, because it's a relatively, we've got 24 swimmers, so I mean, you'll have 50 people out there, but it's a pretty, you know, manageable group. Then we'll send that group off at 6:30. I told the police boats are coming at, there's 2 of them. They're gonna arrive for a 7 a.m. start. They know there's a group of people starting early, so as you're going down, you'll see a couple boats coming up. Some of them will probably stick with that group. Some of them will wait for the final swimmers. Then we'll have the 7 a.m. swimmers. You guys get there at 6:30 at the latest. We'll mark you with a number on your arm. All right, we'll get you guys going off at 7. Any questions so far? Oh, we've got a big, colorful, old school bus. That's the shuttle bus. That'll be there at the start. We'll have bag tags. You can put that on your stuff, and we will put that in the bus to take it to the finish if that's what you like. If you've got your own shuttle set up, that's totally fine too. But if you're gonna, or you just want me to take your stuff down there, or you're gonna take it down and come back, it's up to you. The bus will leave when everybody's gone. That bus will go to the end. All right. Now at the 4.5 mile spot, I'll be there in a pontoon boat. It's going to be, if you have your map with you, it's going to be just past that. What number is that? Number 4. Right? You see where number 4 is on your map? Just past that. Yep. You got to pass that by. Yeah, grab one of those. What's that? Yep. Yeah, grab a swag bag too. So it's 4.5 miles. I want you to be there by 9:30. And that's why a lot of y'all are starting early to make sure you hit that cutoff mark. My goal is for everybody to be safe and to have a successful day. I'm not looking to yank anybody. If it's 9:40 and you look like you're fine, I'm going to let you go. I mean, we're pretty much going to be out there all day by the time it's all over. So, you know, I want everybody to finish. The couple people who stopped pretty much on their own said, it's more than I bargained for, and I've never actually pulled it. They just kind of self-tap out at that point. Totally fine. We've got a lot of points to get to land, and we've got a couple, we've got a shuttle driver for the bus, but we've got another woman who's a swimmer in a car, and we can pick you up wherever. So I'll be in a pontoon at that point. The race up to about, you know, like 6 miles or so, really interesting. You're going to see bridges, marinas, trestles, things like that. It does get a little bit tough there, that last stretch, when you see that power plant that they're taking down. There is a spot. Do you guys have your map with you? Let me see here. There's the one thing you want to watch for is on the back. I've got it. So between 5 and 6, where I say stay river or to the right of the island, there's some power lines there. It's not tremendously difficult to figure out, but there's going to be an island on your left with big power lines. Sometimes people try to go to the left of that, and you want to stay to the right. All right, we'll try to keep you, if I can get my boat down there past check-in to kind of wave people over. If you go the other way, it's not the end of the world, it's just a little bit longer, okay? A couple hundred yards here and there adds up. So after you pass that big power station, the shortest line is on the right. You're gonna stay to the right, and you're gonna see there's gonna be one buoy. Some of these races sometimes I got 4 or 8 buoys out there. There's gonna be one big green buoy on the right. That's where you get out. Last year we were new to this spot, and it was kind of annoying because you hit there was a buoy by a pier, and then you had to go like another 400 yards to get out. People were, I think I'm a nice guy, they're cursing me out. Like, I don't blame them. They're like, what? You gotta go. So we found a new spot that's even better. So it's a little bit forward of that. When you see the buoy, you come out, when you touch land, our timer she's gonna stop the clock. And right there, you'll see, it's really convenient. We have parking. We've reserved a pavilion that's maybe 50 yards away. We've got some excellent cooks, right, Teresa?
Sure, we'll go with that.
Yeah. They've got grills up there. We're gonna be cooking hamburgers and hot dogs. I got somebody shopping right now, so like potato salad and chips and drinks and all that, so you can chill out. So the 2 big points of feedback last year were, how about we don't have you to swim more after you're done? So, yeah, we got that figured out. And then also, there's just such a spread between the swimmers. We got some, former college swimmers and people who learned to swim 5 years ago. So it was a big gap. So we got, the first few people will be shuttled in somebody's car to get them back to the stop. And then the bus will just kind of wait for a critical mass and make another couple more trips. So the question, or no? Okay. So that's kind of it from start to finish. We'll have a phone number for every kayaker. So on safety, if anything happens where you need to, end your day early, which could happen, it could happen to any of us on any day. That's totally fine. Just let us know. You're going to call us, self-service out there. It's great. I've got radios too with the police boats, and they've all done this a lot. So they're not swimmers, but they've watched a lot of swimmers, and they can tell kind of when somebody's starting to slow down or stop a lot. So they're going to be in contact. But just let us know. We've got a lot of boats. We'll just get you out. It's a pretty friendly section of river. Probably no current. It's probably flat like a lake, and it's pretty easy. You just get into the pontoon boat. We'll peel off and just take it to the end. It's going to feel like a long, long day while you're swimming, but we can be there in a couple minutes in the boat. So it's not a big deal to do that. And logistically, it's not difficult to do that. So you're not burdening anybody. We've got boats up and down this stretch. There's a highway that runs right down the side. So if it's not your day, it's not your day. It's okay. We've got awards we're allowing watches, and which is fine. We initially were being pretty hardcore with open water swim rules, but so many people wanted to wear their watches and timepieces. We said that's fine. You can wear a wetsuit, but you can't get one of those trophies over there. Your swim will count, like you'll be listed on that. You can wear an open water buoy if you want for safety, which is, they don't cause that much drag, and I wouldn't be surprised if those were, you could make a good case where they should be mandated in all these races just because, it'll keep you up if something happens. But you can wear one of those too, and that will count you out of that category. What else did I leave out?
Form goggles, can you wear those?
If we're allowing watches, I gotta say yes, yeah.
I'm not wearing mine.
Yeah.
And then there's only one buoy, which is the finishing buoy.
One buoy is the finishing buoy.
All right.
So we'll have, in all likelihood, that front police boat will probably be stationed out there, what they usually do with their lights on. You'll know, basically, when you're really, really relieved to be past that big steam station, it's a pretty good sight line. You should be able to see it with your kayaker for about a mile. Like it's not obstructed, it's not like a turn, you can kind of see that. And then, the boat landing, if you've got, where we're having the food and everything, all that, it's really nice. Where we're starting, it's very rural, it's very like rustic, it's just a dirt patch. And it's, and then the finish, in Belmont, they recently have redone. If anybody's got kids with them, they got a playground there, they got a path. They actually have a swimming beach there, which is really unusual for this watershed to have public swimming areas. Where we're starting, it's a privately owned landing, and the ladies who own it are like, you ever seen the Ozarks? Like the show? It gets a rural spot, and it's $2 a person, no matter what, they'll chase you down. Well, I pay that, so that you don't pay $2 a person if you see some lady coming up to you, and they know this, I've talked to them, so you don't have to pay $2 to park there. At the end, because we've gotten the pavilion, that's like, I don't know, $6 a car or something. I talked to the people down this, you don't have to pay down there either. You say you're with the open water swim event. So anybody, who comes down, so don't pay at either end. All right, we got you covered. Yes?
Is the start the same as Okra?
Yes. Let me think. Did we start Okra this year at the paved one or up a little bit?
Well, last year was when I did Okra.
Last year, no, it's the same bait. When you go down that driveway, this year we're going to the right.
Okay.
Yeah, there's where we start, there's a land, you won't get lost in the morning, because we're all gonna be where we start, but if you go down, there's a public kayak launch to the left, which we've used sometimes, and then there's this one that we're gonna use to the right. So each one has a benefit and a drawback, so.
So we're going where we usually start, not where we started or
Correct, correct, yeah. Yeah, and this one, there's a porta-john there too. This one, there's right at the, a lot of kayakers asking about restroom breaks, because it's a big ask for them, it's a long day. Not for the swimmers. There's public porta-johns right at that check-in, at that bridge, at that 4.5 mark, where kayakers could pull over. Just from being the swimmer in a lot of events, and with kayakers, usually they'll tell you at a feed, hey, I think I'm gonna pull off and go to the bathroom on the shore. So if you don't see me, you just keep going straight, that's generally how it happens. Nobody usually jumps out and pees, that's usually what happens. So if you're a swimmer, that's okay, don't get mad. That's your kayaker, just kind of, keep going and take a break. So, and then you can even tell them and say, hey, if you need to pee, just give me a heads up and I'll just, I'm just gonna keep going straight. So that's totally fine.
Is a cap mandatory with the water temps?
Nope, you don't have to wear a swim cap. The only we just need a number on your arm. Make sure your kayaker knows your number too, just in case we ask if we just want to check in on somebody during the swim, just have them know your number. We can generally see your arm, but sometimes we can't, and at the finish it'll help them clock you in. Anything else?
Any specific tips for kayakers?
Yeah.
First time doing this?
I would have your swimmer let you know you're the navigator, so the kayaker, in theory, you're in charge, because you can see the water tower or whatever you're aiming for, and the swimmer is looking at you to the side to navigate. Now, the swimmer, often the kayaker is like a little too forward of the swimmer, so it's kind of annoying if you're up there that I'm trying to look up there, so they might want you back. Ask your swimmer, am I too forward or back? And they might want you kind of actually like at their hip, because they're looking sideways and you're looking forward. And then just set up for the kayakers, you can make it as complicated or simple as you want, but they may say, I want to feed every 30 minutes. So every 30 minutes, you kind of look at them like this or time, and then give them their feed bottle. And then you can touch, any incidental contact is fine. The river is shallow. If you hit the bottom, you don't have to try to tread to feed. You can stand up and you can even have contact with the kayak. You could hang on it as long as there's no forward progress. I mean, if you're doing that, I'd rather you be safe. You just can't, nothing can give you an advantage, right? So that would be the basics. So make sure you're, kind of looking to see what the best line is down the river, the shortest distance, and make sure you're where the swimmer wants you. That would be my advice.
Sounds like we pretty much stay river right.
Pretty much, yeah. Well, there's some places you can tell where you might want to cut it a little bit, but it's generally just river right. And then the other option, or just go in the middle, you know. If you get if there is a push from the current, you know, that channel in the middle is going to be a little more.
Are there the red channel markers out there at all? Do you know?
They didn't do a good job of putting them back in after Helene, so there's not a ton of them. There's more, the white markers you see are usually because it's shallow. So when you see those white, like almost like PVC, those aren't navigational. Those are because there's like a shoal or something like that.
So is it Kevin Lofton Riverfront Park? That's the midway. That's what you're doing.
Yeah, that's where the check-in is. Not quite midway.
Well, you're right. It's
yeah.
sort of. That's
Yeah.
what you're doing the cookout.
Yeah.
Yeah. Come up and then I'm just looking on the map. It's like it says like triathlon shows up as a boat down. I was trying to.
Oh.
In my head, you know, as you're going down,
Yeah.
is it pulling in a way, or is it right off the river?
Oh, it's right off the river. So that, like, there's that second bridge on the that's Wilkinson Boulevard. There's on the right, you'll see like a public boat landing, and you'll see the Porta John. You're gonna be jumping on that side, so you can go like 20 yards over.
Okay.
Oh, by the way, it's really 10 plus miles. Yeah. In fact, if you took a little bit longer line, it might even round up to 11. It might be close to 11. So we measured, when we did it, it was 10. William swam it as the test swimmer, and it was 10. And then Natalie, the swimmer, she's going to be doing the advanced shuttle. She did a 23-mile swim this part and then kept going. And I guess we took another line, and I was like, holy crap, it's almost 11. So we took, because I'm looking at that, now we're a little bit farther up at that boat ramp, but I'm just giving you a heads up. So try to take the best line you can, because I guess we took a better line. I was Williams kayaker, so we were dialed in, so we got a better line.
How does the check-in work? Does our kayaker just check in with you and be like, hey?
In the morning,
No,
yeah.
halfway.
Oh, halfway. We're just gonna, there's so few of you, you'll be so spread out. We're just gonna holler at you, wave the kayaker, and we'll say what's your number.
Okay.
And then you gotta know your number. Yeah, you gotta know the number. We had cards last year, but they weren't, usually it wasn't convenient for the kayaker, and they were fumbling it. So it's a small enough event, and we can get close enough to you, and it's not like we're in the ocean, like we can get right up to you. So just, we'll say what's your number, shout it out. We may recognize some, you guys too, but.
So you'll see us.
Yeah, we'll see us, yeah. We'll be we'll be camped out like right on the other side of the bridge there.
Did you say that's where the restrooms are? That's the same area?
Yep, when you see the check in the boat, and we'll tell you, you can point to where they are. Yeah. Anybody, any other questions?
On combo plan, real quick, so while your cell phone is needed, that's, I guess, the primary.
Cell phone, definitely cell phone, yes. So kayakers, make sure they've got cell phones, make sure they've got some kind of charger with them, just in case. Quite honestly, the charger will probably be because a lot of kayakers will be listening to like a podcast or something. But in case of emergency, have that phone with you. All right. And generally, we'll space the boats. We'll have at least 3 boats. We have between our pontoon boat, there'll be a police boat at the front, us in the middle, and then a boat at the back. So we can usually also tell if there's, with the count, how everybody's doing. If there's a storm, I just don't see there being a storm. You would go to shore, wait till it's safe, continue going. There could be a scenario where we would have to collect everybody. We did that one year at Oak Crud and it went fine. I just don't see it in the forecast this time. So that's good. All right, any other questions? All right, well, you can hang out, get some snacks. I'll be here to answer anything you want to ask one-on-one, but we'll see you in the morning. I think, are they having an event up downtown today, like a Friday night thing?
This is the thing for the arts.
If they're doing an arts thing,
No, they're doing
the previews.
Okay. They may have an arts event going. If you want to go to the Mount Holly Museum, it's open for you around the corner. It's got a cute downtown here if you want to check that out too.